Okay, students, this is an extra help video for pages, algebra review pages 6, 7, and 8 in your lesson A homework. Seems like I had a handful of students have a really difficult time with this, so I'm going to not do every single problem, but at least give you a push in the right direction. And then you want to check your work. So number 1, it says, translate the following into equation. First thing, read aloud what's going on. It says, Tom is 1/2 of 3 times Jerry's age. So work right above the words. Tom is. And then I want you to finish that, and is always an equal sign. Fill in the balance of that equation. Next one. It says, translate the following. The length of a rectangle is 8 feet longer than its width. Again, read out loud. Then we go the length. Work right above the words. Length of a rectangle is an equal sign. So you have L equals something. So this is T equals something. And this is L equals something. You finish those on your own. Number 3. The trick to these is to make sure you collect before you cancel. Collect before you cancel. So look here on the left, collect like terms on the left. So circle with me. We have 4x, and don't forget to catch that negative sign, negative 2x. On the right, there's nothing to collect. So now we collect 4x minus 2x. That's going to be 2x, because it's 4 minus 2. Then we have minus 2 equals x minus 5. Your ultimate goal is to get x on one side and numbers on the other. So here I have 2x, and here I have x. It's better to take this x over here. So I minus x. You finish that equation from there. Number 4, collect before you cancel. So we look on the left, we collect what we can. Look on the right, collect what we can. Make sure you keep that equal sign right where it belongs. So next line reads, this is 3x minus x, so I have 1. 3 minus 1 plus 2x equals, this is x plus 2x, so I have 3x minus 4. From there, your goal is to get x's on one side and numbers on the other so that you end up with x equals something. Number 5. You want to try to collect like terms, and then there's a little caveat to it. So we collect like terms on the left. Now before we collect here, we have to distribute. So this negative, technically there's a negative 1 here. I'd like you to add that 1, circle it. Now draw distributive lines. Next line reads, we have 2x, negative 1, minus negative 1 is negative 2. Negative times a negative. Negative times a positive. Now you see if you can't collect like terms a little bit more, which if we have x and minus x, technically those cancel. Okay, you take it from there until you solve for x. Okay, number 7. Here, when you have 2 fractions with an equal sign, you want to cross multiply. So bring down your equal sign, that's the first thing. Next, draw your cross multiplying. Then write out your cross multiplying. 4 times 7. Do not write down 28. I'd like you to write down 4 times 7. Then we have n times 3. You take it from there. Over here, when you cross multiply, bring down that equal sign. Draw your cross multiplying arrows. Put parentheses around that. Next line reads 6 times x equals 2 parentheses x minus 10. Always write out your distributive. I do not want you to immediately write 2x minus 20. I do not want you to try to do that distributive in your head. I'd like you to write it out, please. Next, I'd like you to circle the 2, please. Draw distributive lines. 6x equals, now distribute, that's 2x minus 20, and you can finish from there. Again, fractions. First thing is bring down that equal sign. Put parentheses around these. So once again, 2 fractions, so we cross multiply. Draw in your cross multiplication arrows. Now do not do the distributive in your head, so that's going to be 3 parentheses x minus 5. And here we have 4 parentheses x plus 2. Circle the 3. Draw distributive arrows. Circle the 4. Draw distributive arrows. And you should be able to take it from there. Taking a look at number 9. Number 9, there's nothing to cross multiply, but you see there's a bunch of distributives. So it's really important that you're extremely careful with distributive. What I recommend you do just with distributive is whatever you're distributing, circle it and draw your little arrows there to make sure you don't forget any terms. Circle, distribute. Okay, so the next line reads 2 times 5, 10, plus 2 times 6, that's 12r, plus 4 times negative 3, that's negative 12. So technically that plus sign becomes a negative. And then 4 times negative 5r, negative 20r, equals negative 6r minus 3r. From here, you collect before you cancel. So we're going to collect like terms. So we're going to collect all our r's. So circle, circle, make sure you pick up that negative sign. Come over here, circle your r's. Now bring down that equal sign. Make sure you stay on only one side of the equal sign. So we have 12r minus 20. 12r minus 20. So what this looks like, if that's 0, 12 means I'm up here. 20 means I go 20 down, so I'm passing 0. So I'm going to be over here. So technically, we do minus that. And you should recognize that this is going to be 8 feet below ground. So this is going to be negative 8r. Then I'm going to collect non-like terms. That's 10 minus 12. And that's negative 2. Collect like terms. Negative 6 minus 3. If this is 0, negative 6 is I'm down 6. Then I go down 3 more. You ask yourself where you're at. You're at negative 9, R. So here's the next part. From there, solve for R. Number 10 is very similar. The trick is to make sure you distribute correctly and very carefully. So circle the 5. Draw the distributive arrows. Circle the negative 2. Draw the distributive arrows. That's positive 5 times x, 5x. 5 times 6 with the minus sign. Then watch that. We have negative times negative, so that's going to be positive 2 times 5, 10x, don't drop the x, negative 2 times negative 6, negative 12. You can take it from there. All righty. Number 11 says right here, find the lowest common multiplier and multiply out the denominator. So start by circling the denominators. Now you're going to find the LCD of the denominators, the lowest common denominator, the LCD of 2, 2, and 5. You ask yourself what 2 and 5 go into. Smallest number possible, which is 10. And then you put your 10 on the outside. Now I'm going to do the first 2 with you, and then you're going to do the rest on your own. So you circle the 2, arrow to 10, and you ask yourself 2 goes into 10 5 times. You bring a little baby 5 there. 5 times 3 is 15. Don't forget that negative sign, so we have negative 15 equals. Don't drop that equal sign. Be very careful with that. Equals. Circle the 2. 2 goes into 10. And bring it around 5 times. A little 5 there. 5 times 7. Then don't forget that negative sign. That's minus 35x. Ready? Circle. 5 goes into 10 twice. Put a little 2 there. 2 times 8. You got a negative sign, so minus 16. Now you can solve for x. Over here, start by circling your denominators. Find your lowest common denominator, your LCD, of 3, 2, and 5. You should get 30. You can think of something smaller, you tell me. But at the top of my head, that's what I have. So you're going to put giant parentheses here. We're going to go 30. Circle the 3. Arrow. 3 goes into 30. 10 times. Bring that around. Put a little baby 10 there. 10 times negative 1. Circle the 2. Arrow into 30. 2 goes into 30. 15 times. Bring the arrow back around. A little 15 there. 15 times 1. And we already brought the negative sign down, so we have 15. There's no x to worry about. Last one. Circle the 5. Arrow to 30. 5 goes into 30. 6 times. Bring this around. Little 6. 6 times 1, 6. There's no x. Alrighty, number 13. The first thing you want to make sure is double check that this is an ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 form, which it is. Now we want to factor, and since we don't have any coefficient here, all you need to do is factor 25 and find two factors that either add or subtract to 10. So we have 1, 25, then we have 5 times 5. And then we can't get anything else unless you get into fractions, which we're not going to worry about. So you ask yourself, which one of these factors either add or subtract to 10? And we see we have a 5 and 5, they add to 10. So, but be careful, technically this is negative. So we have to have two negatives. Negative 5, and x equals 0. Then what you do is you're going to set them both equal to 0. Well, first you can check if you'd like by foiling or monkey face or whatever you called it in your Algebra 2 class. So x times x is x squared, x times 5, negative 5x, negative 5 minus 5x, negative times negative plus 25 equals 0, and x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals 0. So you know, so far you are correct right here. There's your check. Now, how do you actually solve for your variables? We have x minus 5 equals 0. That's this guy. And then we have x minus 5 equals 0. Then you go back and you solve for x. Over here, there's one little trick. Notice you don't have everything on one side. You want everything on one side equals 0. And you don't want a negative coefficient there. So you're going to bring everything else over. So we're going to add x. We're going to minus 72. So it's going to look like this. You're going to end up with x squared plus x minus 72 equals 0. You start factoring from there.